chair is getting very creaky. Howdy, Possum Patty here. And yippers, I walked into the room and the watercolors are here and the watercolor tablet is here. And I'm thinking, now did I leave these here on purpose as crumbs to follow for some inspiration for today's video? Maybe. Well, I popped over to the shelf and got my Tea Tuesday, Four Sisters Cafe, Alice in Wonderland, Mad Hatter's Tea Party, Little Golden Book, ring-bound journal. And in this journal, I journaled sister adventures and maybe some photos that the sisters send me in a text, yes. And this is a crazy, wild journal. I'll flip through it really quickly because I know I haven't brought it out in a while and I have a lot of new possum peeps. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Well, you old-time awesome possum peeps, I'm sure you remember this one. Well, the sisters and I went to a Victorian Tea last month and I wanted to journal about it and put some pictures in here. And in this journal, I'm putting all different shaped pages, just everything wild and colorful. So I thought I would take a piece of watercolor paper and sketch a whimsical teacup with a house sitting on it. Yes, that's the Victorian house that we went to in Wallingford, Connecticut to go to the tea, and just do a very whimsical watercolor sketch on the paper, and then this will become a page in the journal. Now what I'm going to do is, I just did a quick pencil sketch. I'm going to take a black fine liner and go over these lines and maybe do a little more doodling, and then I'll get out the watercolors and do a quick watercolor on the page. And then maybe tomorrow, I'll leave it on the table as crumbs, then maybe tomorrow, I'll do the back of it when it's all dry. So come on along. Now this journal is always finished. Yes, I only add pages to it as I'm going along and journaling it. So there's usually no empty pages in here. And I started off with these wild and crazy, look at that, colorful pages. I tried to make them all different shapes, different sizes. Just some pictures from the sisters. I can link the playlist below. I might have to take some of these rags off as I get more pages in here. Here's a teacup with a dragon on it. Here's a slice of cake. That was our birthday last year. This one I did some tulips out of painty papers. And this is one of my faves, the teapot. This one I made out of vintage English muffin rings that you can use to make crumpets. Very sparkly pages here. This is from a gift bag. Oh, I know. I need to add a picture here. We went to a musical. All right, so I lied. There is an unfinished page here. For some reason, I didn't get to printing out the pictures for this page. But you get the idea, right? So I'm going to do a page and put it in. Right, then I'll have two unfinished pages because I'll have to print out pictures for there and print out pictures for there. Okay, never believe anything I say. Putting that aside because we don't need it while we're working. Here is my whimsical teacup. And I need a fine liner. I usually use Micron. If I can find a good one. I'm sort of running out of Micron pens. I like these because it's archival ink, and as soon as it's dry, it dries very quickly. You can put watercolor on top of it. I have these fine liners, but it says water resistant, water based, so I don't know how they'll hold up with watercolors. I do have a Sharpie. Sharpies usually work too. Okay. Well, we'll start with this one and see if it'll hold up. Now, I started this picture by making just a wonky, whimsical, don't worry about it, anything goes kind of teacup. And this one has a design on the top like this. Okay, this seems kind of dry. I'll go slow. So my sister discovered that the Historical Preservation Trust in her town was having a Victorian style tea in one of the old mansions. And so she sent the word out and asked the sisters if we'd like to go. And of course we all said yes. When we arrived, the man on the front porch was giving a little bit of a historical talk about the house and the town. And then we went in, and on the first floor, I guess they usually have like displays of different historical items, but they sort of moved everything aside. And they put in tables and chairs and set it up like a little tea room. Well, there were actually I think 3 different rooms with tables and chairs. And I think we got the absolute best spot by the window. I'm going to make this like a patchwork, like a crazy quilt kind of cup. And 2 of the servers, they tried to give you kind of a little Victorian vibe with, the long skirts and the little fascinators on their head. And they gave a little talk about Victorian style teas. That was very interesting. And then you can just put patterns in these. You do polka dots. So, of course, we had tea and scones, and they brought out, the tiered sandwich, the traditional tea sandwiches, cucumber sandwiches and all that. And that was very, very delicious. They did some tea leaf readings. Yes, they did some tea leaf readings. And that was fun. My sister had hers. What they did was, I think they put a penny under the cup. And everyone who had a penny under their cup, like maybe 1 person per table, they read their tea leaves. It's fun to draw whimsical because anything goes. The wonkier, the better. Especially this house I made up here. I was trying to make it look like the historical house. It looks more like a hysterical house than a historical house, but okay, I had a little thing around the top, and then we'll do one on the side. I'm not trying to be architecturally correct here, no. So it has a porch, and I'll erase the pencil lines so we don't have to worry about those. I'm going to put a door here with a window. Now I had columns holding up the roof to the porch. Or we can make this with shingles. Make it look like a roof. Does that look like shingles? Okay, now we need some wonky columns to hold it up. And I'm just going to make them wiggly. Could put a little something on them. Okay, now this is the 2nd floor here. I'm just going to put some long windows. It actually has tall windows, but I'm putting long windows because this is just made up. And I'm going to put a window over here. Side of the building. And this is the crow's nest. The building had the what we call in New England the crow's nest at the top, or the widow's walk, where the sea captains' wives would go up and look to see if their husbands' ships were coming into the dock. Well, that pretty much covers the page. As you can see, I don't exactly follow the sketching lines. So I do a quick sketch as like to give me an idea where I want to put everything. But then once I start doing it with the pen, I change things up a little bit, might move things up or down or over, or add some embellishments or leave some things out. And once the ink is dry, I use this Factus Extra Soft Dust-Free Eraser. Now these are really good because this is watercolor paper, you know, and it has a certain texture and sizing to it. And if you use a regular eraser, you're going to mess that sizing up. And when you do that, when you put your watercolors on, yeah, you'll be getting spots you don't like. Yeah. This is probably going to be a 2-day project. Yeah, I'm never in a rush. Take my time. It's all about relaxing and having some fun. I never pressure myself to get anything done. Some people leave the pencil lines and then just watercolor over their pencil lines. But I usually ink and then erase and then watercolor. I put little Miss TT down here in the corner. She's in the living room with Mr. Possum. I look too blank inside of here. Put some put some shingles on here, not shingles. Put some siding on the house. All right, so I have my Paul Rubens watercolors, the ones that I introduced yesterday, that I am looking forward to having some more play with them today. Yesterday I stamped a fairy and did some watercolor on her. She's going to go in my fairy journal. I'll put that over there so I can do a page. I can put the water up here. And put this over here. How's that? Do I have everything I need? I did my swatches yesterday. Got my brush. Now this is just going to be whimsical and colorful. And this is supposed to be like a little tree growing here out of the top of the house. So we can start up here. And I'm just going to mix some of this umber with a little sienna, burnt sienna here. Try to use some of the colors I didn't use yesterday. Now there's all sorts of watercolor techniques, you know, wet and wet. Wet on dry, how to make washes, all kinds of things that you can learn about using watercolors. But today I am, just like yesterday, I am just coloring in an illustration, which is probably the easiest kind of watercolor to do. It's looking too solid. I didn't want it to be like a solid color because it's a tree. You want a little variation in there. Made some little birds on the branches. I'll put the same links I put yesterday below for these watercolors. There's a discount code, but it's only good for a few days. but it hasn't expired yet. Okay, we got some green leaves. I'm gonna put a little darker green on there. Oh my, is it the morning dove o'clock already? I got two little birds sitting up there. Should we make bluebirds? Okay, this was a pretty blue down here. I'm thinking of pinkish, crimson sort of colors on the teacup, crimson pink, and maybe, let's see, something like this for the house. I think the house was kind of like a mustard yellow or something, but this is just whimsical. Put some color up there and I'm just going to pull it down. See, now this is wet and wet because it was already wet and I dropped some color in. Kind of like that look. When that's dry, I can come back, put some yellow in the windows maybe. I don't like a solid block of color. It's like these birds. When you do this, you can get some blooms, but that's okay. I like them. Oh, maybe we should put other colors on here too, besides turquoise. I'm just going to make the whole thing incredibly colorful. Shingles here. Or maybe I'll come down here and do this part here. Maybe I'll make this side of the house green. I think I'll make this part green too. Oh. Oops. Oops. Okay. Always oopsies. I'm just taking a little green, darker green. It's probably going to spread around a really lot. There's a lot of water on here. I can get some of it off. Oh, I can let that part dry. I'll come over here and do some hearts. Don't worry about going outside of little lines. They're your lines, and you can do whatever you want. Dropping a little more color in. You can leave white spaces too if you like. All right, a door. How about a nice orange door? Make it interesting. Vary the color, leave some white spaces. Throw a little bit of a different color in there. Okay, what can we do next? I guess we can go up to the butterfly. Or I can probably put some yellow in those windows now. Now, this took me a little while to finish up. Yeah, but I love it. Very whimsical, very whimsical. And tomorrow I'll punch the holes and do my journaling on the back. It's still a little wet. Well, that was a lot of fun. I think I need some more practice, but I'm getting back into the swing of things. Yes, I used to do a lot of this in my sketchbooks. whimsical cups are fun though. Yeah, this is not my original idea, no. I was looking at Pinterest and a couple different places at whimsical teacups, and I saw these with the houses, and I said, that would be perfect for this journal page. And then I saw some that were very interesting. It was a teacup, and then inside the teacup, you took like a piece of a famous painting and put that inside. So instead of tea, it's like a famous painting. Those were really interesting too. Maybe I should just practice a bunch of whimsical teacups. The way I was making, the little mushroom houses. I could just make a series of teacup houses, very colorful, very easy to do. Well, thanks for coming along today. Well, I enjoyed painting, yes. And I just want to wish everybody happy junk journaling. Bye-bye. When in doubt, play dead. Life advice from an unexpected source. You don't need to go looking for love. Love is all around you, sometimes literally. Mother possums can nurse up to 13 babies. When old enough to explore outside the pouch, the babies ride on their mother's back.